Welcome, race fans, here to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here on a Sunday night. Yes, that's right. We're back on Sunday nights here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and it's with the Joe Six Pack Racing League. And what a race we got on control for you here tonight. It's going to be the Daytona International Speedway, and tonight's race is going to be brought to you by Riptide Radio. The sound of salt, sea, and sand, bringing you the best of the beach rhythm and blues, streaming worldwide. Check out Riptide Radio. Thank you to Riptide Radio for being a sponsor here tonight for the Joe Six Pack Racing League as we take on the Joe Six Pack 90 here at the Daytona International Speedway for the Joe Six Packs Racing League's Cup Series. This is our new league here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's going to be a fun journey here on Sunday nights throughout the rest of this season, but we're going to kick it off here tonight as we got to give a shout definitely to one of our main sponsors here at Freaky Fast, and that's iRacing, iFlag. Make sure you go check out all of their products there with their 64 visual flag LED system. One of the best products out there on the market, and make sure you use that promo code FreakyFast 2022 to get that discount code. But thank you to everybody for tuning in here tonight. My name is Zach Hall. Joined alongside me tonight, proud to say this, is Brian Johnson, one of my old-time commentators from back in the day. So we're running it back, and we always got our producer, as always, the main man here at Freaky Fast, Robert Moyer Jr. Brian, welcome for joining me in the booth here, man. It's going to be a fun season, me and you up here for this whole season. But kicking it off here at Daytona, what other way for a Cup Series to do it?
Yeah, starting out pretty traditional here at Daytona, Daytona Beach. So that Riptide Radio thing is a good sponsor for tonight. Being out on the beach and whatnot. But yeah, Daytona with the next gen cars. It's this package that we have as far as drafting is concerned is it allows the driver to do a lot, but a lot of what they do is dependent on what's going on around them. So it'll be interesting here tonight with this new league and learning all of these drivers that are new to us here for this season. What are the guys that are going to be, kind of aggressive here at the super speedway, and who are the guys that are going to be hanging around in the back and waiting for the opportune moment to start going up to the front. So it's always fun starting a new league here and learning everybody, and I'm sure we'll have a great time.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic time indeed. And the one thing I'm really interested in seeing is just how that plays out, like you said, with how drivers want to attack this. This package here is very, very aggressive on iRacing right now. The pushing is very, very dangerous, but if you can do it right, you can tandem draft almost and really create a lot of speed. But the next thing they're going to have to deal with is overheating with that tandem draft. It happens very, very quickly, and you're going to have to be able to plan that and manage those temperatures if you want to keep that line that you're in moving forward consistently, because that's the thing, is it's the ebbs and flows of speed. Sometimes one lap you're going a couple mile an hour quicker, and the next lap you're going a little bit slower, and the outside line may be coming. So we'll see who is aggressive and who gets the side drafts going, because that's one thing I think as drivers, Brian, we know ourselves, that is such a strong factor when you come to these play tracks. If you're not side drafting, you're not going forward.
Yeah, that side drafting in these next gen cars is very, very strong here at Daytona and Talladega as well. But and with that side draft, if you are intending to side draft, it is a just a gigantic effect on that car. But at the same time, even just cars running side by side can generate a little bit of that side draft. And even though you aren't intending to side draft somebody, it will kind of slow them down a little bit. So, with the runs that you can generate, uh, with that side draft, those two things together can really make for some great racing up near the front and at the back too. Those guys, they can use that side draft and that ability to generate those runs, and you can go from the back to the front in 2 laps if everything works out right. So these 20 guys here tonight are they're gonna have their that challenge set before them, and yeah, like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see who comes out on top.
That it will be, Brian. It'll be super fun to see as we have officially got qualifying coming to an end here. As looks like Art Greco going to be the pole setter here for the season opener here at Daytona. As we're going to pull up our starting grid and we're going to go through these here. As Art Greco going to start on that pole position. It's going to be Jeffrey Belk there in second. Third is going to be Frank Norman. Fourth's going to be back here Gregory Drias. And also, just to point out, if we mess up any of y'all's names, it's the first night here. Please let us know, drivers out there in the Discord, and send us a message, and we'll make sure to get your name said right, because that's one thing we love to do at Freaky Fast. But fifth is Anthony Garland. Sixth is going to be Zach Scott. Seventh is going to go to Johnny Baker. Eighth is going to be Mike Killingbeck. Ninth is going to be Luis Addison. 10th is going to be Al Reed. 11th is going to go to Keith Fallen. 12th is going to be Gene Caddo. 13th is going to be Jeff Barefoot. 14th is going to be David Lamaga. 15th is going to be Joe Nelson. 16th, Rob Lowell. 17th is Jason Willie. 18th is Wayne Dewey. 19th is John Lomega, and rounding out the field is Eli Rasposa in the 20th position, as we got 20 cars here tonight to do battle at the Daytona International Speedway with these next-gen racing cars here at the Joe Six-Pack Racing League. And Brian, we'll see how this plays out, man. 90 laps here at Daytona. It's a 60% fuel load, so that is one huge factor here. They're nowhere near going to go as far. They're going to have a lot of pit stops here tonight.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine at 60%, you're talking about, what is that? That's about 13, 14 gallons of fuel out of the 20-gallon tank on these cars. So, yeah, I'd imagine you're probably looking at about maybe 30 laps at the most. You know, not too keen on the fuel mileage on these next-gen cars just yet, but yeah, you're definitely. I know it's going to be at least a 2-stop race. It might even be a 3-stop race.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my mind it's going to have to be a 3. I'm thinking these guys, if they make it, I'm thinking at most 20 to 22 laps on fuel. That's where roughly in my mind I kind of stand, but it's going to be interesting. If you can stretch it, maybe you can play into a little bit of a realm of making something different happen. That's going to be the question that we're going to have to see as we're on the back straightaway pacing here before we take the green flag. But, you know, with 90 laps, Brian, you know, if you do try to separate this race into, you know, a 3-stop, you know, you're looking at making 22 laps there, and that's right on the edge, I think, of that fuel window. So fuel saving can be a factor here possibly tonight.
Yeah, you know, it might be a situation early on in this race where people don't want to ride up front. They want to be in the back and have that ability to save that fuel back there, you know, running half throttle. But, you know, the good thing is that in these next-gen cars at super speedways is that you don't have to worry about tires. You and I did a Talladega race, I think it was last night, and you know, after a whole run, our right front was, I mean, my right front at one point was still at 100%. So tires are not going to be a factor. It's all going to be about fuel.
That it will be all about the fuel in those tanks as the pace car pulls off. We're going to be looking up to Barney the flag man here, and he's going to wave the green flag as we're off and away here at the Daytona International Speedway for the Joe Six-Pack 90 here at the Daytona International Speedway as they roar down the front straightaway. It's going to be a side-by-side battle. Art Greco, Jeffrey Belk, they both got great starts there, but it looks like the one's going to be able to pull a nose ahead as that inside line looks a little more formed up here as they enter through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, you can see that inside lane. You know, those cars, you got those 3 cars down there, the second, third, and fourth on that bottom lane. They were already kind of organized, whereas up top they still were spaced out. But on the outside, big run coming from that car in second place. Azu, a little bit of contact going into 3, but that's going to allow Jeffrey Belk to get the lead.
Jeffrey Belk storming to the lead, and yeah, like you said there, Brian, a little bit of contact. That was the 64 and the 1 there. So it's like Gregory and Art, they're making contact. It looks like, you know, sometimes we'll see that where that car in front of Jeffrey goes down as that gets that push from the 64 to get that lead. As he goes down, the car behind him sometimes will get sucked down with him, and it pulls him into him. But he got a first caution out on the racing track, and this right here will definitely set up some interesting strategic scenarios. We got a car upside down on his roof, and that is Joe Nelson.
Wow. Just had a little bit of a tough time bumping each other there on the front stretch.
That they have, and we're going to go back here on the freaky fast replay and see exactly how that all started. I know the 76 ended up on his roof, but you're going to see there's the contact between the 99 and look at the 76 fly through the air. Just major incident there for those guys. And that's three cars that have major damage. And it looks like a fast repair already going to be used because that's the one factor too, Brian, we haven't talked about yet is we literally have, two fast repairs. So that is going to be a huge case for these guys. And unfortunately for Joe Nelson, he had the tow because he ended up on the roof.
Yeah, you never want to end up flipping and not land on those four tires. That is unfortunate, especially because it's just at the entrance of or the exit of pit road. So that's going to be quite an extensive tow there. But yeah, two fast repairs. That's very generous. That allows a few incidents like that to happen, but you're still in it. So that's good for all these drivers out here having those two backup cars there. Um, unfortunate that you have to use one so early, but at least you still have another one.
Yeah, I guess they got the three strike rule. It's you got three cars. If you wreck out three of them, then this race, we'll see how that plays out. Like I said again, unfortunately for Joe Nelson, he's going to be the big loser and all that. Not only will he have to take the fast repair, but he had the tow because he was just sitting on his roof there in turn one. Could not get the car back going to get back down to pit road. That's a long tow. He may go a few laps down here, possibly 1 to 2, but his sake, maybe catches a few cautions, gets that lucky dog wave around situation. We'll have to see how that plays out for him. But yeah, Brian, I tell you, he was on his roof and still spinning. It was definitely an interesting scenario. I've never seen a car do probably that many spins on his roof.
Yeah, he did do quite a few spinning like a top down there, but I do like what I'm seeing from some of these guys. Now, some of these cars may have damage, like I think Jason Wiley there in the 13's got some damage, but some of these guys that were kind of like in the back of the mid pack there, like Gene Cato and Keith Fallen, they came down pit road, and I believe Keith, all he did was top off on fuel. So I do like that. I think if you're towards the back and you have the opportunity to put 3-4 laps of fuel in this thing, I think you take it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Especially we were talking, the fuel mileage before this race, and it looks close. So this right there, not only this caution will help the guys here in this situation, also, but why not come off top off there in the back? No reason not to. I mean, it's a free pit stop in my mind. So free fuel, and we'll see how that plays out with the strategy once we get going back green. But right now, still under those pace laps, it's going to be Gregory Drias out there out front with Zach Scott, Jeffrey Belk, Mike Killenbeck, and Art Greco there, our pole setter back to fifth now. So definitely an interesting scenario. But looks like Al Reed there in the sixth machine, he made a big move there from 10th to 6th here in early going. So that's 4 positions up already for the three machine.
Yeah, that's good for him. And another guy kind of more towards the front that made up 4 positions was Zach Scott there. Started 6th and up to 2nd. So it seems like he's going to be one of the ones looking for the lead, wanting that clean air. Breaking the path for everybody else, but getting those laps led. I'm not entirely sure what their championship structure is here tonight, but I'd imagine that there's usually some bonus points for leading the lap and leading the most laps. So if you have the opportunity to do that, then get those bonus points. Why not?
That's right. Why not get the bonus points when you get the chance? But great news, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1 to green here as we're ready to go back green flag racing here after our early caution here to start off tonight. And I'm kind of not surprised from that, Brian. Me and you got the experience, like you said last night, a little bit of this cup packaging and pushing with these cars. It's a dangerous but very effective thing, and I think that's kind of what we had there. It's just a case of a push gone wrong.
Yeah, you've really got to push these cars very square. If it's similar to the Gen 6 and even going back to like the high horsepower days of, with the Chevy SS and the Ford Fusion. You want to hit that car in front of you as square as possible, but these next gen cars are, it seems like they're even more sensitive to that. And I mean, if you're getting pushed by an aggressive pusher, it can be a handful. But as long as you're square, it seems to be pretty manageable, but very easy to hook these cars while you're pushing, especially in the corner, as usual. But and then the other thing too is that we're not entirely sure yet, but it does seem like pushing between manufacturers is a little bit more weird than if you Chevy on Chevy tends to be a little bit better than Chevy on Ford, but that could just be circumstantial so far.
Yeah, I think I felt the same thing, my friend, as we're going to look to go back green flag racing here as the green flag is out. And we're back off and away as we're going to have this pack heading down the one, but it's going to be a battle as it looks like Zachary Scott, the outside line, huge energy up top. He's going to drop down low, take the lead there from Gregory Drias, but it's going to be that 70 machine of Mike Killenbeck up top there trying to make something happen as we'll see what he does. Oh, this might be bad for that number 43. Don't want to get stuck in the middle. Luckily, he gets back down to the bottom. That sucker hole, dangerous spot to be, but the outside line, looking to push from it down the back straightaway. The three machine, AI or Al Reed there giving the big push to that number 70 machine of Mike Killenbeck.
Yeah, they had it working there for a little bit, but you can see that that 81 car, he got untucked from behind the three there for a little bit, and all that momentum just went away. So that 70 car of Mike Killingbeck, which for me on the car is showing 25, but on the scoring monitor he's showing as lap 70. He well, it looks like he's going to stay up there. So I thought he'd come down to the bottom lane, block that bottom lane, but he's willing to stay with that three up there.
It looks like willing to stay up top, and that top line really where the energy's been at so far. And Al up top has been a great pusher so far here to get Killenbeck into the spot. 81 and Garland, they're now coming up into the picture. Also is a little bit of a shake-up there on the entry, and that just shows you at any moment you can have those little bit of checkups, and that's where the drivers behind have to watch for the accordion effect. That's where you see a lot of incidents at this place. Is not really the drivers that initially cause something. It's usually the third or fourth driver in that line that usually gets the worst injury.
Oh yeah, most definitely, because with each checkup that the car behind the initial checkup has to do, that checkup is bigger and bigger and bigger. So those checkups at the back of the pack are much larger than the ones at the front. So if you're up front, you do have to kind of be on your toes about what's going on, but even more so at the back, you have to have a very quick reaction time, or you might end up in a bad situation.
Yeah, definitely don't want to end up in one of those for sure. Is look at this situation now. Looks like Al can really give that good push in that three machine all the way down the back straightaway, then has to really come way off the back bumper through 3 and 4. But that allows him to get a big run here coming down the front straightaway to really give the push to that 70 machine. As y'all can see on screen, it does say the 25, but it is scored as the 70 in our race. So Mike Killenbeck there is working that top groove, and he is stuck to it, Brian. And I tell you what, that's an interesting scenario. I tell you, because before we would have never seen this before. You just stayed up top, everybody would have jumped down. That's the beauty of this package, though. You can make that topside work. Here's where we'll see it right here live. The 64 of Gregory Drias turns. It looks like Zachary Scott in the 43 as he's flipping down the back straightaway. More cars flipping coming into the scene. Wow, craziness here at Daytona. Multiple cars flipped in the first 10 laps.
Yeah, and that's perfect case of what we were talking about before. You got to be pushing on the back of these cars as square as possible. The moment you give an aggressive push and you're not square, that right there is what you're gonna see.
Wow, what a major incident here on the back straightaway of the Daytona International Speedway. We're going to see it here. And like Brian says, square. And when he says that, you can see the 64 little to the right. You see the right front fender of his car sticking out to the right. That's what's going to cause that car there and that 43 yank it all the way to the right in front. And then from here, he is along for a ride, guys. Look at this. He looks to the sky. He sees the ground. And then from here, he starts to flipping. And I tell you, this is a major incident there. Multiple cars even flipping. So this is we're up to 3 on our flip counter in the first 10 laps. I tell you that we're looking to maybe break records here tonight, Daytona.
Yeah, I think the Freaky Fast Space program is off to a great start.
Definitely lift off achieving here was we didn't achieve orbit, but maybe one day we will. As these guys are going to come down, get that fast repair in. But still gonna have one in their back pocket, luckily for their sakes. But man, definitely don't want to be losing that car like that this early, and they're gonna have to come down here. As you see, there is the 64 of Adrias. He's coming through with major damage on that front end.
Yeah, the good thing out of this wreck though is that Joe Nelson is going to have an opportunity to get one of his laps back, I believe, as long as he wasn't involved with that wreck just then.
I believe he will, Brian, too. He did not seem to be involved. I think he was far enough back there, and he should hopefully get that lucky dog to get him one down, and that'll really help his case. But more and more guys coming down the pit road there. It looks like Killenbeck, Reed, Belk, Lomaga, and the top four there just stay out. And interesting call there for that group. So we'll have to see how that plays out. As now we've had guys come down here on lap 10. That's going to make this race into an 80 lap race, where that makes it a very, very easy, in my opinion, three stop, Brian, for these guys. 20, 20, 20. I mean, that's the way you'd break it down. And I'm pretty for sure we'll be able to make this 20 laps on these tanks.
Yeah, yeah, the 20 laps does seem like a pretty reasonable amount of laps with that 60% fuel tank. And like you said, with 80 laps to go, that's very, very doable. Uh, so, but yeah, again, only got to worry about fuel, no tires here tonight. So, yeah, and then of course you also never know. Those guys at the back of the pack. We hadn't seen many green flag laps here so far, but how much fuel can you save at the back? Can you save, 3, 4, 5 laps, even maybe? This next gen car is so new that a lot of that data we don't quite have that memorized yet. But it'd be interesting to see what that fuel strategy is from here on out with having the second caution here around lap 10.
Yeah, I think that does set up an interesting scenario for us for sure, and it's going to be very, very wild to see who can play the strategy right. Because Daytona, we know the play tracks you always got to count for fueling. That's the beauty of it. I'll let you kind of probably explain on this, Brian. But it's 2.5 miles here, so it's a big track to save fuel here or save the amount of fuel to save a whole lap is tough. But I feel like at a play track, it's just so much easier due to the fact that you can, first of all, you're in the draft, that helps save fuel already, but you can really, I feel like, ride partial throttle a lot more easily than you can most tracks.
Oh, you definitely can, especially with this next gen draft package that we have. It's very easy to keep in the draft with the pack and be half throttle, sometimes less than half throttle. And from the way I understand it, is the way that iRacing calculates that fuel usage is that it's all based off of throttle input. So RPMs and things like that, engine load, it doesn't really use that. It's all about that throttle input. So the more opportunity that you get to get out of that throttle pedal, the more fuel you're going to save.
That's exactly right. That gas pedal is the juice button, as they would say for the gas. So I believe that's how it is definitely working. But right now, about to go back to restart. Here's the pace car's going to look to pull in. But we got our top four here yet to pit. The rest of the field has. We'll see how the strategies play out here, as it looks like some of the guys in the back here are trying to get caught back up. But we're going to have the wide shot here as they come into the frame. It's going to be the green flag here, back underway here as we complete lap number 12, start 13 of 90 here at the Daytona International Speedway. It's going to be Killenbeck leading the way. Remember, he was working well with that 3 of Reed there up top. We'll see if they try to get back together on the top, or does this try to reform back on the bottom, as right now that top lane, as we've seen it be very, very strong in these restarts, Brian, no help up there.
Yeah, no help. That looks like the guys at the back of the pack kind of got caught sleeping there for a little bit, and that outside lane just kind of non-existent right now. And the other thing you have to consider is that we have had 2 major wrecks here in the first 10 laps of this race. So maybe these guys trying to settle down here and kind of keep it cool until maybe about lap 50.
Yeah, we could see that definitely play out where we see a little bit more patience. It looks like one driver has to peel off the pit road. Looks like that's Luis Addison. and he's going to come down here, and we'll see. I guess some type of penalty. Yes, he does. He has a black flag. So Luis Addison, a black flag. Rob Lowell, he has a meatball flag for his car, and he's on pit road. So two cars of our 20-car field here on pit road. As we look up here to the rest of the field battling. I also see the 64 Gregor Drias, who was involved in that last yellow. He has no front clip still. He did not take that fast repair. Very surprising. And also, along with him, I believe Jason Wiley, he didn't take a fast repair. So these guys saving those two fast repairs here with major damage. This could be an interesting scenario for them if this, if I think they're thinking we're going to get more yellows. That's the whole goal with this situation here, possibly.
Yeah, I mean that's I think when you don't use a fast repair, that's exactly what you're banking on. Is that there's going to be some more wrecking going on. As it got a little bit squirrely back up at the front of the pack. Looks like Frank Norman in the 72 had a moment there with the 24 and the 3, and that's going to kind of break up that front pack a little bit. And now everybody's spaced out. We got some intervals here to look at Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona's spacing out here a little bit. Yeah, that was the incident there. It looks like Al Reed, he got a really big push from the outside lane. Unsure which car gave him that push. It turned him down into that 72 of Frank Norman. And those two somehow save it. We stay green, but that has really broke up this pack. As you can see, our front four here have broken away about 8/10 back to Jeff Barefoot, who looks like he's going to be looking to probably fall back all the way to Johnny Baker back here in 6th. And there's a lot of damaged cars even in this pack back here. This could, Brian, be an interesting scenario where we could stay green for a while here if these packs get spread out.
Yeah, I think that's probably most likely what we're going to see, because these guys back here with these damaged cars, you can't really make the moves that you can with a clean car. And then, up front in this front pack here, it's only 4 guys. And definitely, if I'm one of those 4 guys, I'm like, look, we don't need to race right now. We just need to try to get to the checkered flag, keep this race green. We can drive away from the rest of the guys and keep it between the 4 of us.
I think that's a very good scenario here. But looking back now, Jason Wiley there in that 13 is the second car in that pack, got that major nose damage on that car. But and you can see as we jump on board with him, you can see no hood, and this is impressive. So these next gens, man, I tell you, they will sometimes surprise you how fast they can be with damage like that.
Yeah, absolutely. In that race we did last night, I had a little bit of damage, and well, I had a lot of bit of damage, but it got it all fixed, and the car was still pretty hurt. But in the draft, I was able to keep up pretty decently. And once I lost the draft, the thing really, really slowed down. But yeah, if you just have some minor damage on these next gen cars at these super speedway tracks, as long as you're not the guy at the front of the pack, you still have a pretty decent amount of speed left in that car.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a very interesting scenario. I think you just gotta, give it, as they would say, the old college try. You gotta go out there and test the damage. It's literally, I mean, personally looking at Jason there as we were back there a second ago, as we look up the Frank Norman, I would personally feel like my race is over at that point if you look at the damage on that car. Of course, he's got 2 fast repairs, but I wouldn't think that car would work that well with that damage, and it has so far. So impressive to see. But look at this. Our front 4, as we jump up here, it's going to be Lomaga up there in the 34 trying to make something happen on Greco. You got to be careful, though, jumping out like that, because you jump out a little too far, you drop yourself back a few tenths there, and all of a sudden it gets hard to get back up to that back bumper of that one machine, and you fall back. Luckily for his sake, he's going to be all right here, but he ducks out again from behind the one here as we're right on board with Greco. The 34 doing some interesting stuff here.
Yeah, and you can see, he gets far back like he is right here, and, he's going to get that draft from that one car like he's got right now, and you can see he's just got this huge run coming up, still building up, and if he's going to do what he did last time, he's going to dart to the outside, and he darts to the outside, and then that run just immediately dies. So, when you're one car trying to make something happen, it's pretty much impossible. You need some help even with a massive run like that to get around some guys. That's just how this package is the way we have it. You can generate some massive runs, but if you get out of the draft, it all goes away very quickly.
They're going to be going by Rob Lowell there on the outside. He's 8 laps down in that race car. As they go by him to put him another lap down. That'd be 9 down now for Rob in the 21 machine. But yeah, I think the reason that really Lomaga is he's pretty far back there. That's getting in danger zone. I do see him pulling back up a little bit right here, but he's got to be careful. You get to a no man's zone there, and you will drop back. And I think the case that's really helping him is those front three are really kind of separated. They're not laying on each other's back bumpers. They're kind of being lackadaisical right now, just riding out front, which I think is smart. We've seen how easy it is to get involved in incidents from pushes. And I think these guys are definitely weighing the risk versus reward right now, as we're only 21 laps at this 90-lap race here, Brian.
Yeah, still pretty early here, but David Lamaga right there. Yeah, you're right, Zach. He's got to be really careful. He obviously wants the lead pretty bad, um, because he's definitely trying to get it. But yeah, he's got to be careful about losing that draft, losing too much of that speed. But yeah, if I'm these 4 guys, we got to communicate. Got to communicate and be like, look, we're going to try to push out as far ahead as we can. We just need to go as fast as we can, get away from the other guys. Let's make this between just us 4. We have a very good opportunity right now where we can guarantee a top 4 finish for ourselves. So, let's kind of push this, put some really good lap times together, and heck, we could even try to lap everybody else if we wanted to.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And the thing that is getting interesting right now that I'm watching is this pack that we're riding along with. This is from 5th on back to 11th. So Johnny Baker all the way back to the 24 of Keith Fallen. They'll actually have Rob Lowell try to drop in here also as 9 laps down to help this pack. But yeah, it's it looks like they're going to start racing here. This is not what this is the ones there I don't think they want to be doing, is getting side by side. As here comes the 21. He looks like he might hook up with the 3 of Al Reed here, and they might try to get hooked up here together. But definitely don't want to be racing. You can see is these 4 guys side by side. Look at those front 4 cars that were ahead of them. They're starting to build a little bit of a gap, and they were really cutting into that gap of the leaders, as the leaders are definitely not pushing as hard as I brought up before. This second pack will catch them at this rate here at some point.
Yeah, when you're these guys back here and you want to catch those guys up ahead, definitely don't want to be side by side. Like we said at the top of the show here, you get that side draft going on. Even if you don't intend to side draft, they're still a little bit there. So you got to race single file, push as hard as you can, and you will catch those guys up front, because those guys up front still not really pushing each other. 2 laps ago, coming out the line, 5th place there, Johnny Barker, he was 4 seconds back, and now he's showing 3.68. So, getting about maybe 0.3 a lap there at the pace they're going right now. So, yeah, and here in a handful of laps, they're going to catch right back up to our top 4.
And now I'm also starting to remember, also, we had 4 cars that did not pick. That's Mike Killenbeck, Jeffrey Belk, David Lamaga, and Al Reed. Those 4 are going to have to hit pit road here at some point. We'll see how far they can stretch it with the cautions. And there's another caution. Actually, I'm not sure. This may be a stage caution. I'm thinking here. Yeah, lap 25. This is an admin yellow. We'd have to get confirmation on that, but I guess this is a stage caution. We're uninformed, I guess. But yeah, so we are under a caution here, but I guess that's the end of the stage there, Brian.
Yeah, which is a good spot for the stage, because I grabbed my fuel data from Talladega the other night, and with that 60% fuel, that puts these tanks at 12 gallons. And now Talladega is a bit of a bigger track, so it's, this fuel mileage data is going to be a little bit off, but with 12 gallons and burning about 0.47 gallons a lap, you're looking at doing about 25 laps. So this stage caution here, that I guess that's what we're going to call it, is right on the money for an empty tank.
Yeah, and that would personally explain to me why these guys stayed out.
Yeah.
If they knew this was coming, this is something you would have planned for, and especially if it's a 25, like you said, 25 laps almost they can do already on a tank, then that any caution would have helped them and made them be able to make this. So this right here fell right into that zone, I feel like, and yeah, so definitely interesting. And sorry about that for uh not informing everybody out there. Yeah, so definitely gonna have some pit stops here, I think, here to get some service done on these race cars.
Yeah, probably put four tires on it, even though it doesn't matter. But fresh tires are always nice to have, and fill that thing up with fuel. If you got any damage and don't want to use your fast repair, right now is a great opportunity to get some of that damage fixed, and line them back up, and have another go at it.
That we'll have to see there, but I believe it as we'll call it officially a stage caution here on Freaky Fast as Killenbeck was able to lead us to this caution here as he's going to lead us down pit road now, and looks like we may have one car stay out. Looks like that may have been Wayne Dewey, um, who has stayed out here in the 11 machine. Oh, sorry, no, he is not. I believe that might have actually been the lap car there of Oh yeah, that was Joe Nelson, and look, he's going to get his lap back because he was the lucky dog. So Joe Nelson, after ending up on his roof on a very early caution, is going to get his lap back, Brian, and now he's going to be in a good position to be able to actually fight for some positions. And I look at someone like Luis Addison there, who's 2 laps down now. He's got to be looking at that, saying that could possibly be me. I just need to stay focused here and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, because yeah, Joe Nelson at one point on his roof, 2 laps down, and now back on the lead lap with a fresh car. So now he's right back in it, and Rob Lowell is going to be that car that stayed out. He's 9 laps down, going to be looking to get the wave around here, and hoping for several more cautions to get himself back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's gonna definitely need a lot of help with those yellow flags from our flagman Barney up there in the flag stand. But Barney might have to get overtime for for Rob to be able to get back onto that lead lap. Is looking at that number 70, as you can see, it's the 25 on the car, but it is the number 70 of Mike Killenbeck, the stage winner there. So great first run there. Definitely explains the strategy now that these guys were pulling, and we'll see what type of strategy is pulled from here on out because this kind of puts them in a interesting scenario here with 90 laps in this race. You get that caution there at 25. You're looking at 65 laps left in this race right here. So, you're definitely not going to go 32 laps to be able to make it into a into a one stop. So you're looking at doing a two stop, and that's around 21.6 laps. So you're looking at around 22 laps, before we might see pit stops happen. So we'll have to watch and see. Do we see our first green flag scenario of the night? As looks like we're getting double file back up. Art Greco is going to be the leader after he has taken the lead from pit road.
Yeah, well, Zach, and if we do see some green flag pit stops here tonight, these next gen cars, they have that, updated iRacing brake heat thing going on where, if these brakes are cool, they do not stop the car pretty much at all whatsoever. So you kind of have to plan ahead and know what lap you're going to pit on. And for the couple laps before that, you've got to drag the brakes a little bit, get a little bit of heat built up into them, so that when you get on them to slow down to pit roads, you're not crossing the yellow cones going 120 miles an hour. So got to plan green flag pit stops at super speedways now with these things.
Yeah, definitely. It is added a whole different fold to it for sure. I mean, I can say it is a lot more difficult as a driver to be able to hit those marks and not only getting on the pit road, but getting in your pit box. It is difficult to get these things to slow down. It's those slow speeds into those concrete boxes. If we get those green flag stops at some point, we'll see who is the beneficiary of it. Is it the drivers out there on the racetrack that makes up the time, that wins it? It may be pit road that does it, but pace car is pulling in. We're going to go back green flag racing after stage one is over. Green flag is back out the air as it's going to be Art Greco, our pulsator, leading us back to the green flag.
Yeah, I think on that pit stop there, he was able to grab the lead from Mike Killingbeck there. So he's on point right now. It looks like Killingbeck, he does have an opportunity to drop down to that bottom lane, but he's not going to take it. He wants this lead for himself, and he's got the 6 of Johnny Barker back there pushing him. And both lanes right now, at least the top 4, are looking pretty organized, got some momentum coming their way.
That they do. Look at this top line as they roll down the back straightaway here. The Daytona International Speedways, the sights and sounds as they head down the long back straightaway. Look at this side-by-side action. The 6 of Johnny Barker, Garrett, giving a big push to the 70 of Mike Killenbeck as they come out of 4. It's going to be the 70 a nose ahead. Now a full car length as it's going to be that outside line pulling away. David Lamaga up top there. Also in the 34, you also have the 54 up top there, Jeffrey Belk. So those four, all four getting back in line up top and going around Art Greco and Jason Wiley again, who hasn't took that fast repair in that 13 machine. I mean, major damage, but that car is still super fast, man.
Yeah, it is. I don't really understand it, but we'll roll with it as he's tucked up behind that one machine, and I guess as long as you're not getting any air on that area where the hood should be, the car's still just as fast. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm him and I can still run second place on the bottom lane, yeah, I'll keep that fast repair in my pocket.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea from the carnage we've seen so far. I mean, we've seen 2 major wrecks here early in the going. I think it's a good call to save that fast repair there for him. And especially if it's that fast, like you said, I just don't think he'll be able to lead a line. He'll be able to push a line, though. We've seen that already, and it's been really, really fun to watch. We've seen that 6 there. He jumped down to the bottom in front of the 1 here as we ride on board with that 6. Just that outside line again. Down the back straightaway, that is where it powers off. And it is so fast up top.
Yeah, it's looking really good. I think it might be why Mike Killingbeck there in the 70 or 25 car, why he doesn't want to go down is because, we've seen so far through this race that outside lane is the lane to be in as looked like he was about to get shuffled back into the middle there. But yeah, that outside lane has been, the dominant lane so far. And, if I'm one of these drivers on the inside lane, we got to figure out, well, how can we turn the tides and make this bottom lane the preferred lane?
That is going to be the question. I mean, I think it's coming down to really that bottom lane is checking up a lot. It's a lot of checkups where I think the outside lane is a lot of guys really pushing hard. And wow, I can tell you that outside lane just pushed completely 3 cars clear of the inside, and now they're going to drop down, killing Beck along with Lamaga and Belk. All 3 of those drivers dropping down as we ride on board here with the 99 machine. Looks like he's got the Riptide radio logo on the front hood of his car. And like you said, Brian, a great sponsor here for the beaches. For the beach, as they got great beach music. So looking at this big check up there as they're heading into 1, and that's something you do as a driver a lot of times, Brian. And it's tough. The farther back you get, the worse those checkups get. And a lot of times I feel like as a driver, you question what is going on.
Oh yeah, you do, because you'll be going down the backstretch at the the back of one of these lines, and you'll be going 195 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden you have to jump on the brakes and get down to 178, and you're like, what is going on up there? Because it's not just a one-time thing. It happens. Sometimes it feels like it's happening constantly, but I think it's just that the runs that you can get in line, you get up to the bumper of the guy ahead of you. Well, he's got somebody ahead of him, and you can't really push the pusher because that's how a lot of these accidents happen. So you got to check up, and then the guy behind you has to check up, but he's also got to run. So now he's got to check up almost twice as much, and it's just it's kind of like an exponential domino effect. So by the time it gets to the back, those guys at the back are having to jump on their brakes.
Yeah, I tell you what, I love that saying in iRacing, don't push the pusher. I think someone needs to put that on the t-shirt. I think that's just one of the greatest lines in iRacing there is. It's definitely a factual statement, too. You get 2 cars, stacked up on top of each other. You add that 3rd car and push that car farther into the car ahead. It does not equal well. So definitely something you don't want to see happening. But look at this again, side-by-side racing here back around this a 7th position as Wiley is going to lead that outside line of that 13 machine. We'll see really how well that 13 can lead here with that damage. And personally, not looking too bad as now possibly the 8 of Gene Cato jumps up, and even Art Greco now, he's going to jump up. So we're going to have multiple cars as they're going to possibly look to jump back down, and undecisive here on what line they want to run. But those front four looking very, very strong as they've built a little bit of a gap. And that's what I've kind of noticed with this next gen car, Brian. You can really dictate how big a run you get because it's a skill and an art to push in here. Is up in the wall, and this is all causing checkups as everybody keeps it straight. We're going to stay green here, but major incident there for the 24.
Yeah, I think the 71 of John Lamaga right there, there was a checkup or something, and he got a little squirrely, got to the outside wall, slowed down a lot, and then had another car run into him, and had to do a little bit of evasive maneuvers for some of those guys back there. But staying green, all is well. A couple dents here and there, but overall not too bad.
Not too bad indeed. As now we look at the 3 of Al Reed here. He's running in the 11th position. This is about 1 second back from the lead. Is now everybody in this field all jumped in line, and it's a single file brigade now. As we're gonna have one car trying to jump out up here and make something happen, but he's gonna be dropping back very, very quickly. As that's gonna be the one of Art Greco, our pole setter. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't look like it has any takers on that outside line to help out that one.
Yeah, I think everybody right now is they've seen the carnage that has happened so far, and they're kind of content to run single file, knock some of these laps out, get to our next pit stop, which at this rate it is going to look like it's going to be on the green. So get that strategy worked out, and get through pit stops, and then see what the second run here after this one, what that holds in store for us. Do you is that when you start pushing, or do you keep waiting until later in the race?
Looking this on board here again, Jason Wiley in the 13, that no hooded 13 machine, still in the top 10 here in the 8th position, directly behind the 64 there. Sorry, actually, yeah, no, you got the 21 of Rob Lowell, so that's the lap car there, directly ahead of him actually. So yeah, it's a interesting scenario here for these guys, but all single file here right now at the moment of the Daytona International Speedway, 38 laps into our 90 lap event here, Brian. And this is a common thing that happens with drivers. I'll let you explain as a driver, but you get those early jitters out of the way. I feel like you get those yellows, then you have that low point. I always feel like in a race.
Yeah, of course, I can only really speak for myself, but at the beginning of a race, especially a super speedway race, you do have the handful of guys that have already decided they're going to be at the back of the pack. They're going to stay out of trouble no matter what. But at least for me, I try to get a lap led kind of as early as possible, because then I can, that's a checkbox that I can, check out. And, get that lap led. Okay, I've got that bonus point now. Now I can go to the back of the field. So early in the race, there is kind of those jitters, and I think, some of it might be because the guys that want to be up at the front, they're trying to get up there. And then, the guys looking for that bonus point for that lap led, they're trying to get that out of the way so they can go into the back with the rest of the guys and just try to avoid trouble. So, but as we've seen, sometimes it doesn't matter if you are at the back or the front or the middle or wherever. Sometimes chaos is impossible to avoid. So even being at the back isn't a guarantee that you're going to stay out of trouble.
No, yeah, it's definitely not a guarantee. I've been in a lot of wrecks in the back, also just as many I feel like up front. So there's really not a safe spot at Daytona, I believe. Daytona is just that type of place, man, where you can't get away from your competition, and it is tough to deal with for sure. And these guys right now are getting back racing side by side. It looks like they did that little bit of a lull there for 4 or 5 laps, and you'll have guys that are saying, man, I can't do this whole running line thing. I got to jump out there and make something happen, even if it means I go to the back.
As I saw there, maybe we caught it on camera, but going into turn 1 there, 43 kind of slid up the racetrack. I guess he was trying to side draft the 3, trying to get clear, as it looks like he's going to do it again. going up a little bit, but I think at that point where his car is, he's kind of just side drafting himself as the top four there on the bottom lane. They had a big checkup, and now everybody's kind of tucked back in under them. And man, six really pushing the three through three and four right now, and they're making that work. As he gets a little squirrely, and around they go,
Oh,
and
it's
we
the
have
big
wreck number
one.
three.
And it's the big one. This is the biggest wreck of them all. Nobody on the roof, but this is major damage. Rob Lowell, the eight there damage. The one, our pulsator, Gene Cotto, and the eight, like I said, just so many cars. The 43 is Zach Scott, Jason Wiley, and the 13. This is why guys say they're fast repair. And I was waiting, Brian, for you to transfer over, because I was about to say I feel like something's about to happen, and yeah, I just saw this playing out, and you like you said, very aggressive with the push here. Is looking at the freaky fast replay and pushing in the corner there, and he actually loses the rear end of the car, pushing him. I think just trying to stay locked up to the back bumper, moving the wheel back and forth. He loses the rear end, and then from there, everybody just sent sideways. Ah, just unfortunate incident. Greg Drias there involved in that one too. I think he had actually just used his fast repair there at the stage. Now gonna have to use that second one, I think. So, very, very unfortunate. And Rob Lowell nowhere to go there for him as he's getting caught up into it. This right there, Brian, was the third really big wreck we've seen tonight.
Yeah, well, and you do have to give a little bit of kudos to the six there. He is the guy that was that spun out there and was kind of the start of that whole thing. But he was aggressively pushing the three car, realized that he was not square and did not want to push him anymore. Was trying to get back square with the three, and I think what had happened there is the reason his car got a little squirrely is because they were coming out of the corner, that banking was falling off. He was turning pretty hard to the left to try to get back behind the three, but he was also off of the gas, trying not to push the three. So I think, just a lot going on with that six car all at one time, and just the rear end came out from under him, and the rest is history, as they say. But it looks like a lot of these guys taking their fast repair, whether it be their first or second one, and they're gonna go out and try again.
That's the beauty of the fast repair. You gotta get a good old reset in and get back out there on the racetrack and see what you got. But looks like we had a few cars that did stay out here, at least from what I'm seeing. No, sorry, they hit pit road before because they wrecked and we're all in pit road there for Zach Scott and Rob Lowell. So those two definitely going to be dropping back as they're going to be laps down as Jeffrey Belk now comes into the picture here in the 54. I think he'll be the eventual race leader here and the winner of the race off pit road there is 54 going to get some laps led here now.
Yep, and we're just approaching halfway through this race. Halfway may be on the green flag, actually. Lap 45, going to lap 46. We'll be halfway out of this 90-lap race. So making good time here so far.
Definitely making good time for sure. We've had some great racing here up front. We've had some great racing throughout the field. But man, that was a major incident we just got to see, and this is going to bring everybody right back into it. And it's definitely one of those things that makes like they said, the cautions precautions. That's the kind of thing I'm hinting at here is, when you get that caution, it brings everybody right back on top of each other, and you get that chance to get new drivers in new positions, and we get to see new things happen. But I think the one scenario we've seen happen majority of the night, even though that wasn't, I think, a wreck from pushing, that was a wreck due to just, aggressive pushing. And yeah, that was definitely an interesting scenario where he got loose right there in the six machine, and we could possibly see some more of that. And that's the thing I expected tonight coming here anyways, is big pushes and big incidents from those pushes.
Yeah, and this is all happened in the first half of this race, right? So these guys, it's not coming 3-2 to go, white flag being out, and everybody's pushing, everybody's trying to win the race. This is just guys trying to make up a few spots. So it will be very interesting at the end of this race to see what is going to happen, who's going to get squirrely, who's in the wall, or who can at the back of the pack can manage to get 2, 3, 4 guys together and go from the back to the front. because from what we've seen so far, we've seen some pretty good racing and some pretty crazy incidents just based off a couple guys wanting to make up 3, 4, 5 spots, or trying to go from the top lane to the bottom lane. So I think we're in for a show here with about 5 to go.
I think we are too. Definitely in for a show. Got to give a shout out to ButtKicker though for being a great sponsor here at Freaky Fast Podcast. So make sure you head on over to ButtKicker.com. Use that promo code there as you see on our ticker, Freaky Fast 20. You get 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker.com of all their products. Thank you for ButtKicker for sponsoring Freaky Fast. We're getting ready to go. Green flag racing though here. Back in the Joe Six-Pack Racing League. As the green flag is back out in the way, Jeffrey Belk's going to lead us off into turn number 1. It's going to be side by side, though. Mike in that number 70 machine, Killenbeck, he has been having a stranglehold on the lead for majority of this race since he's got there. He's trying to get it back, and that's going to be with the help of that 99 machine, Jeff Barefoot, who lost the draft earlier, now going to be back up in the pack.
Oh, the bottom lane got a little bit working. Well, they had a little bit of working out outside of turn 2, but down the backstretch, we were seeing it again. That top lane just able to pull away ever so slightly, and even though with that was that the 94-34 of Lamaga right on the back bumper of Jeffrey Belk there, and it's still not able to do anything on the backstretch with that top lane.
Definitely not able to do nothing, but that 99 of Barefoot really giving the push there up top, and that is really impressive as he almost gets up in the wall. Definitely got to be careful. We've seen those pushes. That's been the really the climax point of the night there for majority of the problems. And look at the pushing down low Lamaga's given to that number the number 54 of Jeffrey Belk. That was so close, and these guys are willing to risk it for the biscuit here. Look at this big shot here down the back straightaway. This is how you're going to push, and he's going a little off center there, but had to back up out of it. And now, as they head off into the corner side by side, and I think this is a great shot, Brian. You get to see of how close this action is.
Yeah, I mean, you got looking off of the hood of the 34 right now. He's got the 54 Jeffrey Belk right in front of him. He's got the 3 and the 99 directly off to the right, and then there's the 70/25 car off to his right front, and he's got the 24 right behind him. So he's completely boxed in, nowhere to go, not a whole lot of room for error. You got to get that car as straight and as least amount of squarely as possible, where we're going to be hitting somebody.
Very possible. What I'm interested to see is, we got that caution at 25 for the stage. Is there another stage? Unfortunately, we don't have that information, but would it come at 50? Is that why we're seeing racing like this? Because this is seeming a little bit more of what you would see at the end of the race. More desperation, more pushes from everybody in line. Nobody really willing to back out of anything.
It could be very possible, Zach, as we see, some pushes went slightly awry there on the top lane, and that top lane has to get reorganized, get that momentum back. But yeah, I was kind of thinking the same too. Is like all of a sudden, these guys really, really want to race. So it is quite possible that it could be about 3 to go here for a stage. As the 34 quits pushing Jeffrey Belk there and is going to go up to the top in front of Killingbeck, and now Killingbeck going to really push the 34 off into turn 3.
Yeah, we've seen the 70 lead for majority of the night, but now let's see what he can do as a pusher here to the 34. He's going to be coming out of turn number 4 here. Good run there from that outside line, but a little bit off center again. This is getting a little bit scary there for these guys, but they're doing a good job of keeping it straight at the moment as they head down to turn 1. Oh, they wanted to jump down there for a second, but they weren't clear. Now they might jump down in turn 1, but no, again, staying up high. This is a scenario we've seen a lot of times from Lear, is staying up high, not dropping down low. And here comes that inside lane, though.
Yeah, inside lane, got a little bit organized. You got the 54, Jeffrey Belk, and then you got the 24 behind him with Keith Fallon. Behind that is going to be the 46 of Eli Raposa. Raposa started at the very tail end of this field and is, now up in, he scored 7th, but it looks like he's going to be about 5th or 6th here this time by. Yeah, bottom lane trying to get reorganized as, the 34 up there, a little bit squirrely with all that pushing going on.
Definitely a little bit squirrely here as they come to the line. It's going to be that 34. Lamaga lead this time by is going to have the big push again from that 70. They've been doing a great job and keeping it high again. around the corner. This is definitely interesting to see. Let's see what Lamaga wants to do. The Killenbeck's been going left, right, multiple different ways, and a little bit of a network issue there for our leader out front as he's losing connection. This could get a little interesting here for these guys. This could be dangerous here as they're coming down the back straightaway.
Yeah, the last thing you want with a car blinking like that is, you're trying to push him, trying to go fast, trying to get that lead. But if you're pushing him and he blinks out and blinks back in, he could blink back in, inside your hood. And, one of y'all will immediately go around. So, got to be careful with a blinking car like that. But looks like it's all sorted out now as that is lap 50 completed. But it looks like we're going to stay green for the moment. And, maybe there wasn't a stage there. These guys just they want to race.
Yeah, I think this is looks like we're staying green, so definitely gonna be seeing if we get one at some other point, but you never know here with this scenario. But great racing nonetheless going on. Lamaga and the 34 out there really trying to make something happen. But Belt now he's got the major help from the 24 Keith Fallen. Here's they're trying to move forward.
And one thing, got to be a little bit concerning for that 70 car of Killingbeck right there. I hadn't really talked about it much as almost crisis averted right there. But he's really been on the back bumper of this 34 car for several laps now, and you gotta have to wonder what's his water temp looking like. What's that oil temp looking like? These cars you can push for about 2 or 3 laps. Pretty strongly, but then that temperature tends to skyrocket fairly quickly, so it can't push for too long. And luckily with these next gens, they it seems like they do typically cool down much faster than the Gen 6 cars did. So that is one good thing about pushing as aggressive as he has been, is that you only need a little bit of air to cool it back off. But water temp's not something we have talked much about, but that is something that these drivers have to be very conscious of.
No doubt. This is, I think that's a great point, Brian, because that's something we haven't seen tonight is someone expire an engine. It's something you see at Daytona a lot of times is drivers taking a little bit of too much risk, getting stuck in line, especially sometimes you get boxed in, you can't get out. And if your engine has no air flowing into it, it's going to overheat. So you got to make sure you're always planning and ready to get some type of air into that engine, as it could be detrimental. As you can see, look at this is the thing about Daytona. Right on board with this 72 machine of Frank Norman. It's the checkups and just the overall paying attention. This is a lot of people, I think, Brian, when you come here at Daytona, you just hold the left foot down and you just go and left, turn the wheel in a circle, and it's that easy. Try to get the draft. No, it's a constant game, I feel like, of paying attention more than you do at almost any other track, because an incident can happen at any moment when you're on top of your competition like this.
Yeah, a lot of what you do at super speedways is determined by what is going on around you, and that's much different from every other track that we go to. A non-super speedway track, you kind of are in control of your own destiny and control of your own car and where you're able to go and what you can do. But with super speedways, you're really limited by what's going on mainly ahead of you. So like I said earlier, you really got to be on your toes, as looks like the 42 that was at the very front of the pack got a bad push.
Yep, and I was just about to say huge push coming through the corner from David Lamaga and the 43 Zach Scott, and man, oh man, it happened just again as I was seeing it, and Scott into the outside retaining wall, multiple other drivers involved in it. It looks like later you'd have the 99 and the 13 Jason Wiley there getting to, as you see, look, it just got too low there, cuts below the bumper, gets into the 43, head first collision into that wall there, and that's a tough break there if you're the 43. And here comes the 99 after that, and from there he just spins like a top.
I tell you what, the 54 is very thankful that he decided to crank the thing to the right, because he was about to nail him right in the left or in the right rear, but was able to keep it off of him.
Yeah, I think a few guys are breathing a sigh of relief after that they made it through that, but definitely some damaged race cars here on the banking of the Daytona International Speedway here at the Joe Six Pack Racing League. It's been mayhem here. So, someone in the background just bouncing off the wall back there, heavy collision. Man, what a crazy time here as we're under our fifth caution of the evening. Perfect time here as we're past halfway here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're going to head to a quick commercial break here, everybody. Don't tune away. Make sure you go get yourself a drink and refreshment as we'll be right back here to give you the conclusion of tonight's Daytona International season opener.
Drivers, start your engines! 4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. No rear grip whatsoever, up sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man, do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
And we are back here, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going green flag racing here at the Daytona International Speedway. But we're going to do something special here for Daytona for a few laps. We're going to crank it up butt kicker style, and we're going to let you hear the sights and the sounds of the Daytona International Speedway and let it rumble through your speaker system. Make sure you go to ButtKicker.com and check out ButtKicker, because this is the butt kicker. Crank it up. there, ladies and gentlemen, after that ButtKicker cranking up. Definitely got the feel of the sights and sounds here at the Daytona International Speedway. But look at this. Got a little bit of single file as that front three. Again, we've seen separation. And again, look at this front pack separating themselves. This is going to be a front seven here, really broken away, Brian. And now they're building that gap. It's going to be a giant gap all the way back to really, I believe, Joe Nelson's the last one in that pack. So it's going to be back all the way to Al Reed back there in ninth. And it's a huge gap. In one lap, it opens up almost a whole 2 seconds.
Yeah, and you know, we still do have one pit stop remaining that we have to do to make the race on fuel. So you know, I'd imagine that coming in about probably 15 laps, maybe 20 laps. So you know, for this field to get broken up like this, it kind of, you know, forces these guys' hands as to who they're going to be pitting with. That kind of has that question's been answered for him.
Yeah, it really has been answered for him. Indeed, is just seeing. Look at this big pushing from the 21 to the 3, and this is what we've seen all night long. Luckily, they keep it nice and straight. Great driving by Al there in the 3. Great pushing from Rob, but definitely heart-raising moments there as the 1 and the 13 up top, the 34 to 20. All this group here balanced super hard. Right now, they're running. Look at this here from this shot. So this is a great shot, I gotta say, for our producer here, Robert. As you can see, Rob Lowell just all over the back bumper, and that's what shot this 3 out so far. They get a big run and actually start to gap this group here. Is look at this. This is gonna come down the back straightaway, and when he hits him here, you're gonna see how big of a hit it is. Looks like this run stalled out here a little bit as he doesn't have another car stacked up behind him. But here comes the run through the center of the corner, and oh, that's a pretty big hit there in the corner too. And tell you what, the 21 and the 3, they're trying to catch up to the field, but the 21's got to remember he's laps down. Does not want to end up wrecking a lead lap car here.
Yeah, he's definitely given him gigantic pushes, and it seems like it's mainly in the corner, which is kind of the opposite of what you typically see. But ooh, yeah, realized he wasn't going to hit him pretty square right there, and kind of backed out of it. But yeah, 21 definitely wants to catch up to the front of this pack, or catch up to the next pack up ahead of him rather. But yeah, like you said, Zach, he is several laps down, so gotta be careful about what you're doing. But you know, good to help out the 3 car there, try to get him pushed back up there.
Yeah, trying to get him pushed back up there indeed, and they're trying their best right now to get this this gap you know, undealt with. And I tell you, Rob has been on the back bumper. Like, I'm so impressed with how well these two are working together and pushing. They're running lap times a little bit slower than the leaders up front, but they've completely just driven away from the guys behind them. The problem is now, you see him ducking out like that, they're going to start to slow down here. He is overheating, and look at this. They're going to have to build the gap in between them there to get the air in between that nose, and that's where they're going to lose speed right there, Brian. That's where they're going to lose out to this bigger pack up front, where they can just kind of cruise out here. This is setting up for an interesting ending to this race. Again, we could see those first green flag stops have to happen during this sequence. What will that cause? That is going to be the big scenario. Green flags, pit stops separate the weak from the strong at Daytona.
Yeah, and kind of looking at the speeds of these guys right now. So Joe Nelson in 7th, he's at the very back of the front pack, and you know, going through the corner, he's about 187, 188, and then you have Al Reed there in the 3, only going about 184, 185, so about 3 mile an hour off. These guys back here are compared to the 7 guys in front.
Yeah, that's just such a sizable gap. I mean, if you look at last time there, Rob Lowell was a 48.17. Our leader was at 47.506. I mean, you're looking at 0.6 of a second there. That's not making up time. That's not what they want to do. Now they're going to be over 3.5 seconds back from that lead group, and they're going to have to figure out some type of way. This is not over. They got to think, is it behind this group? The 3 spins after the help from the 21. He stays on the inside of the racetrack, though, here. This is not going to bring out a yellow, so he's going to have to get this car back going. And man, oh man, he's going to be all by himself. Al Reed losing out big here at the Daytona International Speedway from a push gone wrong from the 21.
Yeah, and you know, you kind of half of me kind of saw that coming. I was hoping the 21 of Rob Lowell there, he was, going to be pretty good with his pushes, and man, he was doing a great job. But all it takes is one, and unfortunately for the three, spun out, no caution, and unless he gets a caution, that's going to kind of seal his fate there.
Yeah, he'll quickly be going a lap down right now, just getting back up to speed on the back straightaway. He's going into 3 as our leader, Keith Fallon, is going through 1 and 2. So definitely not going to work out too well for that group there. As we look up here, it's our front group. They're all going down the back straightaway. It's a breakaway of 7 cars from Keith Fallon back to Joe Nelson. As this group is, they put themselves in the position to be in a great spot here for pit stops coming up. But will they get to those pit stops? We have not seen a green flag pit stop all night. That's going to be the big question, I think, on a lot of these guys' minds. Is Killenbeck back here trying to make something happen on the outside line? He's going to jump back in line as thinks better of it here early in the going here for now. So right now we are seeing right now everybody willing to ride in line, Brian. And I think that's a smart call. You get to that last pit stop, you know you can make it to the end. Do battle then.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the smartest thing you can do at this point. And I'd have to imagine gonna be seeing pit stops. I'd say right around lap 75 would be a good spot to do this green flag pit stop, because that'll leave you with about 15 laps to go. So you can come down pit road and get the fuel you need, but you don't necessarily have to fill up the tank. You can just take the fuel that you need and then get back out on track. So I think 15 to go is going to be kind of the sweet spot.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, what do people want to do? Do they do that, or do they pit a little bit earlier, knowing when they can make it? Just to top the tank off. That is, it's always a question at Daytona what you want to play strategy wise. And as we're watching this front pack here, they're doing a little bit of separating here, or sorry, this pack back here, this second pack, they're doing a little bit of separating, the 70, or sorry, again, this is our front pack, but they're doing a little bit of separating here from really the 4 positional back. This 46 of Eli Raposa, he's fell back. Frank Norman, Joe Nelson now, he's out of action at the draft zone, so he's going to be dropping back. So right now, it's looking to only be a 6-car breakaway as we're looking at this second pack. They're about 5 seconds back here with Jeff Barefoot Rob Lowell, the lap car leading the line, and they are still losing time each and every lap. That was about a half a second that last time by, so definitely not playing out well for this second group here as this race continues to click on.
Well, Zach, I could understand your confusion a little bit ago with, that pack breaking up, because both of the packs were kind of doing the same thing at the same time. Front pack breaking up, get 2-3 cars here and there, and then the backpack was doing the same thing. So that's why they were so much slower last time by than the front guys, because they had gotten separated as well.
Yeah, and the guy who really lost out on that is Joe Nelson there. As you can see our lap times down there, that's comparing, our leader here to
some pit stops.
99. Yeah, actually, Joe Nelson's going to be the first one pit road here, and multiple others. So we're seeing some guys electing to do some stuff here. Jeff Barefoot coming down. And I think it was smart for Joe Nelson to come down. That was a well time for him, because he was dropping back into the clutches of those guys. He drops into pit road right in front of them. Now it's going to come out of pit road with them. This is, I think, a really good call for that 76 who was losing the draft.
Yeah, that's his best shot, as although it does appear like he's taking tires, and some of these other guys, they just elected to take the fuel, so he may end up losing the draft anyway. As it looks like, it was Louis Addison and Joe Nelson. I guess they took tires there. They have gotten separated from the other 3 guys of Jeff Barefoot, Mason Wiley, and Rob Lowell right there. They just took fuel right there, but even them, they're all separated, so they're going to have to get organized and get up to speed before the top 7 guys come in.
Yeah, and here comes that group as you're looking to see these guys exiting out of pit road. It's down to that time to go, so we're seeing some guys making decisions. Look at this. Oh, no, the car's coming out of pit road. Luckily, Fallon can get by there as that front 4 group does go by. This is definitely, that was a little bit of a heart-raising moment for sure. And I tell you what, we could have been looking at a yellow flag at any moment there, but I tell you what, you need to go check out is one of our great sponsors here, and that is iRacing iFlag. Their visual flag system is a 64 LED system that gives you tons of information. Not only does it let you know what type of flags are going on out there, green flags, yellow flags, blue flags, black flags, white flags, all the different types of flags out there. It also can give you spotter information, such as the cars to your left, cars to your right. It is amazing to see what those digital pit boards that iRacing iFlag can do. So make sure you head on over to iRacingIFlag.com. Use that Freaky Fast 2022 promo code and let them know that we sent them there by using that. So thank you guys for that, and thank you to iRacing iFlag for being a great partner here. And while we're at it, also let's give a shout out to Advanced Sim Racing, the eBay of sim racing, we like to call it here at Freaky Fast. They got everything, anything you could want in sim racing, from cockpits, wheels, chassis, just anything that the sim racing community can need. It's at Advanced Sim Racing. Head over there, use that discount code FreakyFast5 to get 5% off of any Advanced Sim Racing branded products. So head on over there and use that promo code and get yourself some Advanced Sim Racing equipment. Well, Brian, I tell you, it's a great group of sponsors we got here, but we've had a great group of racing also here tonight. This is coming down to the nitty-gritty, man, and I really think pit stops here. Here it comes. I was going to say, they're about to start transpiring. Here comes our leaders, Keith Fallen, the first one in, and I tell you what, it was pretty quick in there, but I think he's good. But he built quite a gap on the guys behind him, the three that came down, or two.
Yeah, that was a great job by them. Really everybody that's made these green flag pit stops, they've, nobody's overshot it, sped, going through the grass. So everybody's doing a great job in that respect. It will be interesting to see where these guys come out. Do they come out in front of the guys that had pitted a couple laps earlier, or are they going to be behind? So only time will tell, as we will be able to tell here shortly as they're coming out of pit road. And it looks like that group of cars that pitted before them just coming into the trioval right now. So it is going to be very close.
Yeah, I actually do think it's going to be somewhat close, actually. Lowell and them past the exit of pit road now, as they're going to be exiting off of turn 2. I still think they won't. Yeah, it's still going to be a sizable gap, but still, great job by that front 3 as they come to pit road. But it looks like Killingbeck there did a great job on pit road to get himself back to that back bumper of Keith Fallen, as this next group here, Frank Norman comes in, Jeffrey Belk and Eli Raposa. We'll see where they come out, because this was the group that was with the guys right here. We'll see what it is compared to them, as they're going to be coming through the tri-oval. Now Belk is going to be exiting into 1. I think Belk may be close to catching on to him, but I think the rest of them, Norman, Raposa, I think those two may be in trouble here as this group is getting up to speed. I think this front 3, actually, they may be all by themselves once this is all said and done, because here is Belk getting up to speed. Here comes this group to the outside, and oh no, car comes up right in front of him on the exit. No caution though, but that was contact there from Frank Norman coming up into those cars coming by on the outside.
Wow, that was craziness just then. Yeah, just coming back up onto the track when he's able to, and unfortunately there was those 3 cars up to speed right there. I mean, that could have been extremely bad, but I think everybody kind of looked out on that one.
Yeah, if you're Mike Killingbeck and really Wayne Dewey, you are, man, I'm telling you, you're lucky. And look at this, the 3 around once more again for Al Reed. Unsure what happened to him there, and man, bizarre moments here in the last few laps. Looks like Frank Norman, actually, he's coasting around the track too still, as he's trying to get his car back up to speed, is trying to check out what happened to Al Reed. Looks like, oh, actually he got into Norman. Norman was up ahead of him going really slow in this group, and he got in the back of Norman. And so that, man, multiple instances there, Frank Norman, as he's coming out of pit road, and this is set up very weird ending, and no caution there, even though cars spinning all over the track.
Yeah, and I gotta point this out, Zach. So the top 3 have really just outdone themselves with that pit stop cycle, because top 3 right now are in the middle of 1 and 2, so they're exiting 2 right now, And then we have kind of our next guys. We've got 5th and 6th just getting to 1 and 2. So a gigantic gap these top 3 guys have really built for themselves. And, if we don't see a caution or any kind of crazy things happening, I mean, they've pretty much got this one in the bag.
Yeah, I never as a commentator like to say they got it in the bag, but Brian, I think I'd hate to say it, unless we see some type of yellow flag, nobody will be catching that front 3. It's going to be a battle for the podium between those top 3. The rest of this field, they're going to be trying to get what little scraps they can here, but don't count out a yellow flag. We're still not under 10 to go, not even near 5 to go. This is got plenty of time here for that good old yellow flag to come out of Barney's hand and start waving around. But this group here definitely doesn't want to see it. I mean, like you said, they nailed it, knocked it out the park. The 24, the 70, and the 11, all 3 of them just on point with that strategy there. And this is going to come up if it stays green to set them up for an interesting scenario. The question is, who is gonna help who? That's when you got these 3-man scenarios, and I'd like to think these guys are probably most likely working together, Brian. When you make pit stops together, that means you're usually on the same type of strategy, same type of workflow, and same teamwork type of thing. My question is, then that gets a little hairy of who goes with who.
Well, see, that's one of the things I hate most about super speedway racing is that you spend all race working together with these guys, helping each other out, and you're having a great time, and then the white flag comes out, and if you want to win the race, you have to, you got to upset the guys that you just spent 100 laps working with. So that's something I've always hated about this style of racing, is that you really have to screw over the guys that have been helping you the whole race. But that's that is the nature of of this style of racing. If you want to go out and win, you got to do some things for yourself sometimes.
I completely agree with you, man. It's it's the catch-22. You build the relations with a driver out there on the racetrack. You've worked so well together, but it comes down usually when you work well together, you got to beat each other for that win, and we're gonna see who can get that done. The 24 here, the 70 or the 11, all gonna be in good spots here, as it's 15 seconds all the way back to Jeffrey Belk there and Eli Raposa. But the big group here is back in 6th. It's Art Greco, Luis Addison, Gregory Drias, David Lamaga, and also Jeff Barefoot. That group there from 6th to 10th. This is our biggest pack here on the racetrack, and this is where, if anything is going to happen, I guess you could possibly look at it for here in these closing stages. I'd imagine, as this is the most group of cars we have. So, man, Daytona, the attrition race it was, Brian, is I would say a good thing we definitely had those 2 fashion birds, because we've seen some flipping cars here in the very beginning of this race, but they've definitely cleaned it up here in this final run, and it's coming down to strategy now.
Yeah, all strategy and how well you were able to work with the guys around you on that pit stop. One thing that I think led to the success of those top 3 guys right there is that they came down to pit road together, they left pit road together, and then getting up to speed, they were still right together. So they were able to get up to full speed much more quickly than the guys the couple laps prior. They had come out of pit road on the backstretch off of the apron fairly spaced out, so it took them a lot longer to get up to full speed. So those top 3 guys really able to work that out very nicely. But yeah, looking back at this pack right here, looks like the 1 and the 20 there gonna bring the 64 and the 34 right around, looks like Jeffrey Belk and Eli Raposa there. So those 2 guys right there are going to go from 4th and 5th to about maybe 9th and 10th, as that pack had caught them.
Yeah, that's, if you think about it, for Belk's situation there, you got and Raposa's situation, that's unfortunate for those 2 running in the 3rd or 4th and 5th position, then just get swamped by that bigger group behind you. But they'll have a chance here with 7 to go to try to make any little bit up here and try to get back into that position. But man, it's now looking up to our front group. This has now become a 5-car pack, even though it's 3 cars on the lead lap. You also got the 6th there of Johnny Barker involved with this pack, and then also Al Reed there. So these 5 all stacked up here with 6 laps to go. And here comes Al Reed. He's trying to make something happen on the outside line, and definitely an interesting scenario here for these lappers to be racing. And looking at it, it looks like not racing for position either. So definitely going to be look for that. As here comes Lamaga. Actually, Al Reed going to be able to try to get this position. This will be, or no, sorry, actually this will put a lap between him and Lamaga. So 13th is all Reed possibly will be able to pull off here, as we're going to have coming to 5 to go this time. I got to say thank you everybody for tuning in though here tonight at Freaky Fast. It's been a pleasure to call the first season opener here at the Joe 6-Pack Racing League, and I cannot wait to see the rest of the season here with me and Brian up here in the booth. So thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up button. If you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast, hit that subscribe and bell notification button right beside it so you can be notified each and every time we go live, so you can watch all of our amazing action we got on here, as we're live every day of the week except for Friday. That's right, every single day except for Friday, 6 times a week. We're going to be live here in the next future. So check us out here on Freaky Fast Broadcast, and if you enjoy sim racing, then we're going to have plenty of it for you here. So thank you all again, like I said, for tuning in, and let's enjoy these final 5 laps, as it's going to be Fallen, Killenbeck, and Dewey. These 3, who can get it done is going to be the question. But who makes the move first? Do we see a caution? Do we stay green? It's going to be 4 to go this time, Brian.
Well, and the other thing you have to ask is, these 3 lappers behind them, what kind of factor are they going to play into the finish of this race? Do they, have a buddy up there in the top 3? Are they willing to help them? Or, are they going to stay behind the top 3 and kind of stay out of it? These 3 lappers, if they want to, they can, have a say in who wins this race.
They really can. And, it's always, I think, this is kind of the unwritten rule area. I feel like a restrictor plate racing of, what is the etiquette there for a lap car? I mean, are you willing to, help a car there as a lap car and, possibly affect the outcome of this race between 2 drivers? I mean, you're still in this race, and like you said, Brian, it could be one of your buddies up there that you're working together with. They're coming up on Rob Lowell. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Lowell jumps up out the way here, and actually this group here, very, very slow. Nelson also in the 73, I think. Oh, no, not going to hold his line. Okay, that's a little bit scary there for a moment for these guys as they jump up out the way of these leaders and let them play it out here with 3 to go. But thought a few of those guys were going to hold their line there on the bottom, and that would have got a little bit hairy. Luckily, they jump up to that top line and do the courteous move to let the leaders on through. Like you said, it's going to be interesting to see what those 3 lap cars can do, and do the other 3 lap cars that we just had there jump into the factory now too.
We got a little bit of action just happened there. 70 was looking to the outside. He is looking to the outside. Going to try to take the lead away from Keith Fallen here with 4 to go.
2 laps to go here at Daytona, as the 70 is going to have to be on outside. But look at this. It's going to be Al Reed up top into 3. The 71 of Lamaga up there also. These 2 looking to help possibly the 70 here as they come down through 1 and 2 onto the back straightaway. The run is going to come from the outside down the back straightaway here.
Yeah, I do apologize. My camera was set on a lap car, and he was 2 laps down, so I thought there was 4 to go, but it's actually just 2. But yeah, these lap cars, speaking of, are going to play a factor into who wins this race right now.
Yellow
getting
flag.
A push from the 70 car, but a yellow comes out.
Yellow flag is on the track. We're going to go to overtime, as, like I said, at any moment a yellow could fly, and it was from that pack that I brought up. It looks like, I believe, Lamaga maybe got into Luis Adamson there back here in this pack, and has really brought a caution out here with 2 laps to go, and we're going to go under overtime as you see it there. And that incident, very, very interesting for sure. And these 2 definitely not probably enjoying that moment there as wow. Look at that there from Lamaga. He just flipping again. That's flip number 4 tonight for our flip counter, and that total may go up here as we got a green white checker to add on to that there, Brian. And I think he's stuck on the banking. Oh, there he goes. He
Oh,
backed
there
up.
it goes. Yeah, you can put it in reverse and then you're good.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh no.
well, that's just a space car. That'll be fine. But yeah. So have 2 attempts at a green white checkered here, and so this will be one. If another caution comes out, that's going to be our next and last green white checkered attempt. And I do have a feeling that we are going to be using our second one with what we have seen in this race so far.
Yeah. 2 green white checkers. The settle this is going to be a very, very, very crazy scenario here. So we just seen some wildness play out there. I think you're going to see a little bit more of that, Brian. And I think we could add on to that flip counter. We might hit the 5 total here for the night for the flips. And if that's the case, that's a pretty high total. So they outdid themselves with that, as Daytona has been wild nonetheless to say here for the season opener. The driver that's probably sitting there saying, "Man, why couldn't we just stay green? That's got to be killing back there." But luckily, he takes the lead as that caution comes out, and Fallen's going to have to restart second now. It's going to set up for some interesting scenarios where now Art Greco, the guy who's sitting fourth, I mean, he was 15, 16 seconds back. He now has a shot to win this as our pole setter.
Yeah, and if I'm killing back, I don't know if I really want to be in the lead at this point with 2 to go over time, because I feel like, at least for me, I'd rather be on the offensive in this situation. I'd rather be the one trying to make something happen than the one trying to prevent something from happening. So but some people would rather be in the lead and try to control both lanes, but as we've seen tonight, can be tough to do. We've also seen that outside lane be rather dominant, on these on the shorter end of the runs. So it will be interesting to see which is that outside lane still going to be the dominant one here. Who's going to go up there? Who's going to be able to make something work? Can Gillingback keep everybody behind him and still win this race? A lot of questions will be answered in the next 2 laps.
A lot to answer, no doubt, indeed. Man, oh man, I'm very interested to see how this is all gonna shake out here at the Daytona International Speedway. I gotta say, it was so we were so close to a white flag. We were literally 2 laps to go, about to get the white flag, and that caution flew. And this is gonna set up, like you said, Brian, for something wild and something unexpected here. Is while a green white checkered is always interesting because we don't really get that momentum ever fully built up. I feel like with a green white checkered, it's really that second lap that's kind of where you finally feel like you get up to speed, almost going down the back straightaway, but then you really don't have too much more to get it done. This a lot comes down to how these restarts how you can get the energy going on the restart is going to be so critical for especially that outside line where they're not controlling this restart.
Yeah, a lot of times it feels like by the time you get up to speed and you get organized and you try to think about what you're doing, you only got half a lap left. So, right now, coming to the green flag on the backstretch, these guys, they already got to be thinking about, okay, what do I want to do? You've raced these guys for 90 laps now, so you kind of have a pretty good idea of what everybody, how everybody races, who's a good pusher and who likes to be pushed and all of that. So you got to be thinking about that right now, and you have to go out there and execute it. And then again, if you're Mike Gillingback, you're not going to be looking out through your windshield much these next 2 laps. It's all going to be beside you and looking in the mirror behind you. So he's got a lot of decisions to make right in the moment when that happens. So what can he do?
What can he do? That's the question. Pace car is in. And we're getting ready. First green white checkered attempt of 2 here at the Joe Six-Pack Racing League. Green flag is out. We're off and away as we're heading down to 1. It's a great start for the 24 up top. It's going to be dead almost even as they enter 1. Which lane's going to be better? The outside lane looks to be a little more formed up. Can Keith Fallen get the help he needs? or does Wayne Dewey give the push to the 70? We'll see those. They head through 1 and 2. The inside lane is gaining momentum, but what will the outside do here is they drop to the outside. Nobody goes with the 24 to get away from the side draft, and they don't follow him. Now you're going to have cars dropping up to the top lane. It's a wild race here. Is now Greco in the middle.
Yeah, Greco unfortunately kind of, got the butt end of that situation. Azul, a little bit of contact, 24 in the wall, as there's more contact, and we got half the field in the wall.
And another giant wreck here before we could take the white flag. We're going back to overtime. It's going to be green-white checkered attempt number 2 here at the Joe Sick Pack Racing League. And I tell you what, we could have seen that one coming, and it was getting wild there as everybody stacking up and getting involved in that one. Only 4 cars look like they make it through that.
Yeah, although I do not believe we will add to our flip counter for the night.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Fortunate for the drivers, though, because you don't want to end up on that roof and not be able to get back to pit road. But major incident there, and really just all was starting there from really that inside line. I think Barefoot was given a push to Dewey, and there from there, it shot Dewey up the racetrack, I think, a little bit, and man, he got up into that 14 or 24, and from there it was just mayhem. Everybody involved in that, and yeah, that front 4 there of Killingbeck, Dewey, Barefoot, and a Raposa all make it through it. But now the rest of the field, they're gonna be looking probably to take a fast repair if they have one left. Luckily for a lot of people, probably have a few of these fast repairs left, and we'll be able to get the car fixed up and have another shot here at this green-white checkered attempt, Brian.
Yeah, I think most everybody will probably still have one left, as it looks like Killingbeck, our leader, going down pit road.
Fuel.
I wonder if he has any damage.
Fuel. I think
you
it's fuel.
think it's fuel?
Yeah, because, I mean, if you think about it, these guys, they came down, took no tires. They only splashed to get to the end of this race. He might have only set up to make it to lap 90. We're at lap 95, folks. And he just took a quick splash of fuel. That is definitely, he was, oh, man, that is so unfortunate for the 70 of Killenbeck, because has been having a tremendous race. He's going to lose a ton of track position due to this. He's going to be back around 7th here once we get back on green.
Yeah, he did have some pretty heavy right rear damage, so I wonder if he was worried that was going to hurt his speed. But I think you are right, Zach. I think when they came down pit road during that green flag, they weren't expecting to go overtime, because everybody was spread out, and they were driving off into the sunset. Yeah, that's one of those things when you come down and you calculate your fuel. Do you want to spend that extra half a second putting that fuel into the car to, in case there is overtime? Unfortunately, I think he got bit by that.
Yeah, I think he's probably saying what could have been there if he just put a little extra fuel. The question is, did Dewey, did Barefoot, did Repose? I mean, all these drivers, did they put enough fuel in these cars? Dewey there was at 74, Barefoot was at 70, Repose at 75. Then Jeff Nelson also 70. Other than that, those 4 are really the farthest yet on their stint, and we'll see how it works out for them. I mean, you would think they'd be good, but we never know with these scenarios. We'll have to see once we take that checker flag. That's going to be the beauty of this thing here. And I tell you what, Wayne Dewey's sitting in a good spot. Jeff Barefoot, I mean, Eli, so many drivers in a really good spot that were not in great spots really all race.
No, and I think, I don't know if that was on purpose, if they meant to be, kind of in the back of the pack, hanging around and waiting for, the end of the race to come back up and hope they get a couple cautions. But whether it was on purpose or not, it worked out for them. You got Wayne Dewey, he started 18th, he's in first. Jeff Barefoot started 13th, and he's sitting in second. And Eli Raposa, he started, at the very, very tail end of this pack in 20th, and he's up to third. So, our top 3 all started outside of the top 10, which is crazy to think about.
Definitely very crazy to think about. I don't know who is in the best position, but Brian, I mean, as a driver yourself, where would you want to be positioned? What's your preferred spot you feel like here in this scenario coming to this green white checker?
Well, for me, It's that's kind of circumstantial because that would depend on where my teammates are. Um, if I'm in the lead and I've got teammates all around me, yeah, sure, I'll be in the lead. But if I'm in the lead and I don't have any teammates around me, well, well, okay, here's the thing. Where I want to be is wherever my teammates are. That's the answer to your question. Because you can't get anything done by yourself. You got to have some help. So front, back, middle, top, bottom, doesn't matter. Wherever I've got help.
I think that's a great point there, Brian. I think it's all going to be about the help you have. And look at back there in the very back of the pack, it's Killenbeck. I don't think he's going to have a shot at this as the pace car is pulling in. We're going to get ready to go green flag racing here as the green is out in the air. Barney waving the flag for the final time here tonight, possibly, if at least the green one, as we're heading down to turn one. It's going to be that 99, a barefoot with the nose ahead, but I think Dewey's going to have a little more help. He's going to have Eli Raposo right there behind him as the pack stacks up through turn 1 and 2, Brian. It's going to be a battle here down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and we kind of had counted out Killingbeck, but he's already slicing and dicing through these lap cars in the back, and he's already made his way up to 5th on the bottom lane, so he's already back in this thing.
What a job by Killingbeck. He's already the 6th car and or fifth, yeah, the 6 car line on the bottom, and they're wrecking again as the caution is going to come out, and that is going to end tonight's race. That is going to bring an official into it, as they're going to take the white flag here, as we only had 2 attempts at a green-white checkered, and that's going to be it. Wayne Dewey going to cross the line, and he is going to be your winner here tonight, as he's going to be taking that white flag there, but it's definitely a white and yellow flag there, as a major incident is brought out. Another yellow here tonight, as pushing gone wrong once again. Looks like Joe Nelson there. We have added to the flip counter.
Well, did we?
We did. Joe Nelson again, after it being the first one to flip tonight, ends up on his roof once again and stuck on his roof once again. I mean, I feel bad for Joe Nelson. He has had a tough night for getting stuck on the roof, and he is going to have to tow that car back to pit road, so going to have to end up probably a couple laps down here. But, man, Dewey, what a job by him in the 11 machine. He's now officially going to be pacing through 3 and 4 here, as we're going to look at the freaky fast yellow here, which caused to bring the end of this race. It was all over the back of the Drias and then into there and down into Nelson, and you can see him flying again through the air. Just, man, what a major flipping wreck there for Nelson, and just multiple other drivers involved in it. Killenbeck looks like he'll make it back to 7th here unofficially. Just a crazy ending tonight's season opener here at Daytona, and just shows you Daytona. I mean, it's the place where stuff, you just never know what's going to happen. And that right there is what we've seen tonight. That is our 5th time a car's been on its roof. What a crazy finish here, man. But Wayne Dewey is going to end up being our race victor here tonight at the Daytona International Speedway, as he continues to roll around here. As I believe it might be a little bit before he comes back around here to do some celebrations here at Daytona. We're going to head to a quick break here as we try to get our top 3 drivers up here and have a conversation with them. Don't miss a thing. We'll be right back here, folks. All right, we are back here, ladies and gentlemen, here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We've had a wild ending to tonight's Joe Six Pack 90 here at the Daytona International Speedway. What a race it was, and what a wild finish there we had coming down to the end as we had two green-white checkers to bring it down to the finish. And we definitely had some interesting scenarios here playing out as we had a little bit of a mix-up on the results. But we do have our second place man up here in the booth with us here tonight, and that's going to be Jeff Barefoot. Jeff, you got a copy of Zach up here in the Freaky Fast booth.
Yes, I do. Hey, guys.
Hey, man, well, I'll tell you what, congrats on a great drive tonight, first off, getting up to second there at the end. And I tell you what, 13th to second, pretty good drive. And, you know, it was wild there at the end. How did you put yourself in position there, man, to be able to bring home this top two finish?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Had to use both my faster pairs, but just kind of stayed in back and tried to stay in line and stay out of trouble, and did work my way back up the front. Sometimes it works out like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race, man, to watch all night long. And we seen the pushing was very, very wild. It seemed like you could push, but it was very easy to be able to get off center and, you know, be able to cause an incident. So how hard was it to push tonight, and how tough was it to get those pushes?
Yeah, you have to be careful who you push. You have to know the guy in front of you, and if you lock onto him and push him, and if he's kind of shaky with you, you just have to back off. And luckily, Wayne, I've raced with him for 3 seasons now, and I felt like I could push him as hard as I needed to. And on that next to the last lap, I tried to push him and the leader out front to clear the outside line, and then they wrecked behind us, so that didn't work out. But yeah, you just have to pick and choose, and you can tell after one lap how hard you can push somebody if you're not haven't raced with them before.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I tell you, it was a great season opener for you here to get second place at Daytona. Next week, we head off to Atlanta, though. How you feel about our first mile and a half of the season?
Uh, Pretty good a mile and a half, so I'm working on it. They're a little tough for me, but the more practice I get, a little better I get. So looking forward to Atlanta because it's a slick track and you got to hang on.
Definitely, we'll have to be hanging on at Hotlanta for sure, man. It's going to be fun to watch all that action play out next week. But congrats again, Jeff, on second here tonight. Before we let you get out of here, man, and go celebrate this second place finish, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Now, I just want to shout out to Joe Six Pack Racing. It's a great league. It's my fourth season with them, and looking forward to this season 5. And then Riptide Radio sponsored the race for me, and I got them on the hood. So hope that all works out for them.
Awesome stuff, Jeff. Well, man, I tell you what, congrats on second. You have a great night, and we'll catch you back out there in Atlanta next week, my friend.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right, everybody. That was your second place finisher of the night, Jeff Barefoot. And I'm getting official word now that it looks like we do have our third place finisher actually in our booth here. As we finally got our official results, as they had a little bit of mix up there with a car stopping, but it's gonna be the 40 or sorry, yeah, the 46 or 64, sorry, of Greg Trias. Greg and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yes, I do. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It's been a fun time to watch you guys battle
my
tonight,
gosh.
man. But I tell
It-
you what, you had to battle back from some stuff because you had that nose damage early in this race. How did you battle back from that and saving your faster pair? How, take us through kind of that decision.
Well, I got caught up with the craziest thing on iRacing when you pull into the pits and you get caught for passing under yellow when there's nobody out on the track. So I was just able to take advantage of getting back on a wave around to get back on the lead lap and watch my fuel. I was really lucky coming into the last 10 laps because I was a lap short. I caught the draft and actually ended up being able to go in on the first green white checker, get just a splash of fuel, and have enough to win it. If I didn't catch the draft when I was in P7 or 8, I would have been about a lap short. So it's just being in the right place at the right time and going in for just a splash of fuel on the first green white checker.
Man, I tell you what, that's what it is sometimes about racing, especially here at Daytona. Nonetheless, it was
Yeah.
a wild race, and I kind of brought this up even to the Jeff. The pushing it seemed very very tough tonight. I mean, take us through that. It had to be nerve wracking all really 98 laps of this event to
Um,
survive it.
yeah, it was. As a matter of fact, I think it was the 48. We were pushing, and that was the time when I was up around a P4, P5, and I think I spun him, and it took us both out. And there was several times where you could do some pushing. Our team, Wolfpack Racing, did a lot of pushing early in the race. Even the guys that were a couple laps down, if we all banded together. So yeah, drafting was easy. Pushing was a little rough because there was some pushing to pusher going on. So you made contact and pushed for as long as you could, backing off in the corners. And if you couldn't get to their bumper to push, you just stayed as close as you could for the whole time. So definitely working with a team this year as opposed to me doing solo when I was running the league last year makes a big difference. It's a big shout out to the team members for helping get us up to the front here.
Yeah, no doubt. We always say Daytona and Talladega, it's all about the teamwork, no doubt indeed. And man, you guys were able to pull it off, able to bring it home in third in that 64 machine. And before we head off into Atlanta next week and get yourself prepared for there, anybody want to send a shout out to Greg for that third place finish here tonight?
Oh, definitely Freaky Fast Broadcasting for doing an excellent job. The new admins for taking over for me for a little while. Definitely our team here, Wolfpack Racing, and this is my first podium finish in Joe Six Pack history in 12 seasons between car and trucks. So, shout out to everybody for helping out and making the league what it is. So definitely shout out to the team, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and whoever was able to figure out that mess and who finished where at the black flag at the checkers.
Well, man, I tell you what, congrats on the podium, Greg. Cherish it, man, and we will catch you next week in Atlanta. You have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. That was your third place driver here tonight. And now we're going to move on to victory lane. It was the 11 machine of Wayne Dewey with the call here to make it down to the end in the final two green white checkers. He pulls off the victory, and we're going to pull him up here in the booth. Is Wayne Dewey and Zach Hall up in the booth? You got a copy, man. Hey, Wayne and Zach in the booth. You got a copy, man? It seems we may be having a few issues here with our winner here with a little bit of mic issues, but we'll try it one more time before we move on to our post race here. But Wayne Dewey up in the booth, Zach Hall, you got a copy, man? And it looks like we do not. Unfortunately, guys, sorry about that. Looks like having some issues here on Discord for Wayne, and as he pulls home tonight's victory. But that is going to conclude our post-race interviews here tonight for the Joe Six Pack Racing League at the Daytona International Speedway. What a night of racing we had here for 98 laps. It was so fun to call all the action. As we'll pull up our well, actually, we're not going to pull up the race results. Sorry about that, everybody. As the race results are all jumbled up, and we don't have technically the official results of this race. It is going to be a wild race here tonight. But Brian, before we hop out of here tonight, man, and head on to next week at Atlanta, any final thoughts from you up here in the booth, Brian?
Man, just looking forward to Atlanta next week. I think Jeff Barefoot, our second place finisher, had alluded to it earlier. It's a hot track, slick track, so these guys are definitely going to have their hands full as we go to Atlanta next week. That tire management always going to be something that we're going to have to be taking a look at. But 138 laps at Atlanta is going to be a pretty action-packed field race for us to call next week.
No doubt, indeed. It's going to be fun at Atlanta, at Hot Atlanta, as they call it. One of the oldest surfaces in NASCAR. We still got that older version of Atlanta. So these next gen cars are going to take that on next week here at the Joe Six Pack Racing League at the same time and place here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Also, shout out to Riptide Radio here tonight for being the race sponsor here at the Joe Six Pack Racing League. It was a very, very fantastic race here. We had a great time calling all the action up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you all for tuning in. As I always say, if you haven't yet, hit that like, hit that subscribe and bell notification button to be notified each and every time we go live. As we have, we're going to be upcoming here in the next few weeks to be live 6 days a week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting with all types of action on iRacing. So make sure you check us out, hit that subscribe button. And again, as I always say here, thank you for tuning in. We love you all, but stay freaky fast.